I'm going to be putting up my new porch. So a few weeks ago I had some guys come out and pour this slab. This is a 15 by 73 foot slab. It goes along the entire front of my house, and then I had them make sidewalks to the back where the shop is. But this part of my house has basically been useless since I moved in. Even the cat didn't want to be out here until now. These posts are all marked at 110 inches, and then the 6 beneath it will be marked at 106.25 inches. You want the 6 out here shorter than the 6 closest to the house because you want a natural drop for rainfall to shed off of. If you build it flat, then the water's going to be dripping over there. You want it out here. That 3.75 inches accounts for a 0.25 inch drop per foot. So 0.25 times 15 feet is 3.75 inches. There it is. All the posts are cut. So I got all the poles grinded, all the pads grinded. I have X's marked where the centers are on the pads, and we're ready to stand them up and start welding them on. These posts are 1/8 inch thick square tubing, and if you look on the welder, that you can weld 1/8 inch without using 220. But I don't really trust to burn in these poles with an extension cord, so I got a generator here that does produce 220 volts, so we'll crank this generator up, make sure we have ample amounts of power, no small extension cords. I want it to burn as hot and clean as possible. Since I can't hold the posts up level and weld them at the same time, I brought in some reinforcement. So Emily's gonna make sure the post is level while I weld it. It's not super difficult, it's just something I can't do by my lonesome.
Here to help.
Okay, make sure it's level. You gotta tell me when it's good.
Yeah.
How we looking? This is good. This, push it just a hair.
Yeah.
See how that's not perfectly in the center? Like that.
Okay.
So push it just a little, it's not in the center. Like that.
Okay.
Okay? Okay, you should be able to let it go.
Let it go?
Yeah.
Are they good?
Good job. I'm gonna burn it in. Don't look at the light.
Just from this way?
Just whatever, just, you can do whatever, just don't look directly at it. Don't take these off, just keep.
They're not cold. I thought the poles would be cold.
Okay, so you don't have to use them if you don't want.
It's not center.
What?
This isn't center yet. Okay.
All the poles are welded to the pads. They're all level. All the measurements seem to be perfect. Look at that. Look at that straight line. Perfect. Come over here. A little bit tougher to see on this plane, but perfect. And Emily got her hands a little dirty.
Yep. We did it.
We did it.
Mhm.
Good job.
Thanks.
With your safety goggles.
Yep.
Safety first. Safety third.
Safety third.
So now I have all the purlins laid out, and I'm trying to get it mocked up for how much overhang I want before I put these up and weld them permanently. They come in 20-foot sticks, so I thought if I can use all 20 feet of each stick instead of cutting them down, it'll save me labor, and you're kind of getting free real estate. You know, it comes 20 feet. If you can figure out how to use it, that's all the better. So what I think I'm going to do is overhang this 54 inches, which is exactly as wide as the sidewalk, and then this extends over, and when you get over here, it covers the end of the slab plus the ramp pretty much, which I kind of like. Oh, this is how much overhang it would have over here. It'll go right about to the end of the ramp, so as soon as you get on the ramp, you're in the clear, or you're shaded. Because the thing about it is you swear, oh, you know, there's plenty of room, plenty of covering with just the footprint of the slab. But then once you cut everything and weld it, you can't lengthen it, but you can always shorten things later. One thing I've learned about building coverings or buildings, you can never go too big, and you are never dissatisfied with a little more square footage of coverage, ever. So we're gonna leave them long. Perfect example is my shop over here where I work. I'm glad I listened to my dad when I did this, because I would have not been happy with myself if I didn't. So I was gonna cut these flat with this, because I thought, well, they don't need to extend farther than the ramps, you know, you just need the slab covered. Well, if I would have cut these flush with that, the rainwater would have dripped right down the purlin and right on all my stuff. Not only on my cars, but on the concrete, and the water would spread inward into my area. Whereas now it's outside, it doesn't go into my shop. So I'm so glad I listened to him on that, and that just taught me a lesson that if you have the opportunity for overhang in any direction, use it if you can, because you are never dissatisfied with more coverage, ever. It's always better. And as far as hanging these purlins go, I was going to get my forklift out here to help me lift these. It makes it easier because they're kind of awkward. But this concrete, it's kind of iffy whether it's made to hold a forklift. I can't remember if it's 3,000 or 4,000 PSI concrete. It's 4 inches thick, which you really want 6-inch thick, 4,000 PSI concrete for really heavy stuff. And you're risking it. And plus it's cool outside, so it's not hot like the summer where you can bet that concrete's 100% cured no matter what. I mean, it's kind of cool, so I know it's cured enough, but it may not be 100% cured. And if I drive that forklift up on this slab and it breaks or something, cracks, I will be so livid. I will be literally levitating. So I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna try and hang them by hand. I did the other side with the forklift. I did drive the forklift on that slab out back, and it's kind of risky to do that, but it didn't break. So, but I don't want to try my luck twice. should be good to go to weld the first purlin on. It is perfectly level. I have the level up there. I grind it off where I'm going to weld it because this post looks like bare metal, but you can see when you grind it, you actually get down to real bare metal, and I need the absolute cleanest metal possible because I'm not the best welder in the world. I do okay, but you want clean metal anyway, but especially in my case, you know, I'm not building skyscrapers with my welding skills. So I think we're ready to weld this in. I got the measurement correct for the overhang. Comes right out to the end of this. So I think we're good to go for the first one. This one's the most difficult one. All the measuring took place on this one. The next three should go a little bit quicker because all you gotta do is butt it up against the other one, make sure it's level, weld it. Needs to go this way. All right. Is there any way to clamp it together? There. Okay, the back wall of purlins is up. They're all welded together. They're welded to the posts. They're welded in the middle where they butt. 80 feet. It took a lot longer than I thought it was going to take, to tell you the truth. That was tough doing it by hand. I got a little bit better method here coming up, I'll show you. So now we have to do these. These should be a little easier because they're not right up against the house. They got a lot of open area. So I'll show you what I'm doing here. Getting smart about it now. Oh. Maybe a little too high. We'll see. All right, the last of the purlins going lengthwise are up all 80 feet on both sides. That was tougher than I thought. This side was easier and it did go faster. I was able to get all these up before lunchtime. Now, what we have to do is make these sections that go widthwise. So there'll be 6 of those, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that are gonna go from post to post that way. And that's what I have this rectangular stock for. And the reason I didn't use purlins for that is because no matter how you orient these, if you use purlins, you're gonna have an open side on one side and you can't weld to it. You know, you want it flat on both sides because I'm gonna put one middle section of purlins in the middle all the way down so that I'll have 3 places to screw the R panel to. What we have to do now is get these off, chop saw these at the correct length, whatever it is in between the posts, get them up there and weld those. And then we have to cut these and weld them in the middle of these lengthwise again. And then we'll have our skeletal structure up, and then we can go get the actual R panel and put that on. Whew. You know, this tool has been handier than I ever thought. This is actually a drywall hanging tool. You put drywall on it. You put it on a roof because you can't put drywall up and screw it up at the same time. It doesn't work. So they use these, so they put it on the roof and it holds it. And I bought this because I was rehabilitating this house 5 years ago when I bought it. And I thought, well, I'll just use it for a few weeks and I'll put it on Facebook Marketplace. You know, $200 is a lot of money. I don't need it. Well, I ended up using it for months when I was redoing this house. It was just so bad. And instead of selling it, I kept it in my shed And I've pulled this thing out and used it on numerous occasions and nothing else would do. I mean, this is making it to where I could basically put this up by myself. So this $200 drywall hanging tool I bought 5 years ago has been a great investment, honestly. I love it. I'm glad I didn't sell it. All right. Yeah.
Just right above it, huh?
Just a hair.
Alright, well I'm going to sit right here in case it tries to fall. So go ahead and weld it.
So all of the beams are up and welded. It's the next day now, but I realize after thinking about this, I made a mistake. So let me explain to you the mistake I made. So I welded these beams the same height as the purlins that go lengthwise. But this is what we're gonna screw to. We're screwing the panels to the purlins, all right? And instead of putting one in the middle, like I said in the beginning, I'm gonna do two, because the span of the panels is 5 feet max. And if I put it just in the middle, there's gonna be 6 foot in between screw to screw to screw. That's too long of a span. So I'm adding a second row so that I'll have 1, 2, 3, 4 to screw to instead of 1, middle, 3. But that's not my problem. My problem is what I would have to do would be I would have to measure between here and here and cut the purlins, put them up level, and weld them in between. And that's a lot of cuts, that's a lot of welding, that's a lot of measuring, and you have to get it exact, because if there's too much of a gap, you're not going to be able to weld in midair. So what I'm doing is I'm taking these beams, cutting the welds, moving them down 6 inches so that I can just lay the purlins across the top without cutting and welding a gazillion times. So you can see I've already done it to these two. I've cut it and lowered it 6 inches so that when I lay those purlins on top, I can just sit them on top of that beam and they'll be, you know, the correct height to this. I'm not gonna film the process of cutting these and lowering them because I'm kind of aggravated with myself and I just want to get this done right now. When I lay the purlins across the top of these, I'll start filming again. All right, so it took us till the end of the day yesterday, but we moved all these down. Man, and I'll tell you one thing. I always sing the praises of a plasma cutter, my plasma, and it came in extreme handy yesterday. Right here, this Miller plasma cutter, because you could just take the handle of that gun and just buzz it all the way down, cut the weld right in half like butter. I tried to use a cutting wheel at first, but it didn't work. The cutting wheel wasn't big enough to get in the corner there, because these are all in corners, and the head of the grinder was hitting the steel before it could cut the weld through. So I had to go buy a 100-foot air hose to run air all the way back here. But yeah, that plasma cutter made small work out of it, and yeah, I just absolutely love that thing. time for what we've all been waiting for, the panels. So we've already set a few on here and screwed them down. I just wanted to make sure I was kind of square and make sure everything was looking good. So if you put these on just like that a little bit, when you put them on, each one will be a little further back, you know, if it's not perfectly rectangular, and then you'll notice that it's off after a lot of panels, and then it's a pain to redo it. So we're looking good. Got some nice overhang, so the water will drip onto the dirt instead of on the concrete. Provide just a little more shade. So yeah, now it's just a game of me getting up on the roof, Dad handing me the panels, and then I'll just screw them down as we go along, and we'll see how far we get. The panels usually go the quickest. I keep saying that this should be faster than the last step, but I always run into snags, so we'll see how fast I can do this. need it twisted, yeah. So, what did all of this cost to do? So the actual pad itself is 15 feet by 73 feet, which is 1,095 square feet. But the panels are 16 foot long by 3 foot wide. I used 27 of them. So it's 1,290 square feet of actual coverage. So just 10 feet shy of 1,300 square feet of coverage, because it overhangs a little bit and it overhangs off the concrete some. So we'll start with the panels. So the actual panels that I screwed on top themselves, I got them from Thunder Mountain Metal here. It's a Tucson company. They got the best price on, they make roofing panels and stuff, real good company. That was $1,942.27. That came with screws. So the purlins they were 20 feet long, 2x6 purlins, and the rectangular tubing was also 2x6. That cost $1,319.15. And then the posts themselves, the 3x3 1/8-inch thick posts, I got 12 of those. That was $665. But that's not where the real expense was. The real expense is the concrete. That's where things start to get dicey. So I used, remember, not just the slab, but the sidewalks that go from the front to the back of the house. So I used $206 per yard. I used 20 yards. That came out to $4,650 for the concrete itself. They had to bring in a load of dirt to level this out and make it perfect. And there's like a tiny little slight slope so that water will tend to run off the concrete, not pool. So the dirt was $350, and then the labor was $5,000. I usually like to do everything myself. As you have seen here, I'm a very big do-it-yourselfer type of guy, but there literally becomes a physical limitation with concrete where you cannot finish this amount by yourself. You can't finish it and make it nice. And plus, I'm not really a concrete guy. I would have messed it up even if it was just a 2x2 square. So I'm not learning a whole new trade for one deal, so I had to pay for labor. So the total cost for this comes out to $13,927.43. But we did really hit 14 because the steel plates that I had to buy, they wet set in the concrete with the 4 bolts, you know, what I welded the posts to, that steel, whatever, that was like $130 some odd for the lag bolts and the 8x8 squares that I wet set. So it was $14,100, you know, for everything. And that's what it costs to build yourself a big old fat nice porch out of steel and concrete. I could have used wood. I'm not really sure how much cheaper it would have been, but I don't like wood out here because the sun kills wood, and wood would have lasted many years. Yeah, it's not going to go bad in a week or 2 weeks or a year even, but steel lasts longer. In 20 years, if the panels don't blow off, I will have zero maintenance on this thing. Wood, it just tends to rot. It can get termites, you know. You have to recoat the roof or reshingle it or whatever. It'd probably be coated. You'd have to recoat the roof every 3 to 5 years. You'd have to deal with it rotting out, because even if you coat it, the wood can still rot and you have to replace panels. I just don't want the maintenance. I just want the least amount of maintenance humanly possible, and steel is that for me. I should never even have to touch this thing, ever. What it's meant for now is to be enjoyed. This was also strategic for cars, because Emily gets to park up here now. If you watch my videos at all, you'll know she parks over here back where I work. But now that she parks up here, it freed up an extra bay for me to have like a second project going or something that will be waiting in the wings. So let me turn the light on here. So because Emily parks out front, I can have my project here. I can have a project here, which is a sneak peek right there you just saw. And I have my Cadillac here, and this is where Emily did park, but this is where I can park my GMC now. And we got kitty cat meowing. But yeah, freed me up a bay. When I'm working on one car and I have to order parts, I can start working on another one. By the time I hit a wall with one, parts will be in for another. So maybe this will make my workflow faster, I don't know. But anytime that I can park another vehicle out of the sun, having an extra bay to park something, you can never go wrong with. Whatever you use it for, you never go wrong parking stuff under something, keeping it out of the sun. I sincerely hope you guys enjoyed the first video of the new year, which is a change of pace, being that it's a porch build and not cars, but that's okay. This is something I've been wanting to do to my property for years, ever since I bought it, and now was the time to strike. It's cool outside, it's nice. I'm not doing this in 110-degree heat. Ain't no way. I want to enjoy it during that time. I've been in cleaning mode. My property has just been a mess. I do yard work like once a year, and took off loads of tree branches and bricks and dirt and trash and tires and all sorts of stuff. I've been in clean mode. I've also had a lot of vehicles to prep and get ready to sell on Marketplace. So the good news is I've picked up my next 2 projects for the channel, so make sure you're subscribed and stay tuned for the next installment.